Yo. Unscripted, off the cuff. There's nothing scripted. There's nothing prepared for this. Just about maybe less than a few minutes ago. And right here, you're talking to Lou Optics here, Louisville Optics. Um, Share, subscribe, you know, help your boy grow his channel. We're trying to get monetized. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers, so many hours, whatever. But we're gonna get right into it because I think there's a lot of things we can glean from this topic. Again, it's Lou from Lou Optics, and anything related to healthcare and eye care is seriously important to me, and I'm gonna make it relate to everything in life because I just believe that it connects to everything in life. Let's get into it. Brittany Griner. Um, we just heard that Brittany Griner, um, WNBA star, U.S. basketball star, is guilty of drug possession and smuggling, and she just got sentenced in a Russian court to 9 years in prison. Um, According to Reuters, um, she was detained at Moscow's airport um, in February after vape cartridges containing hashish oil was found in her luggage. Um, and she maintains that, she didn't do this maliciously. She didn't do it to be rebellious. This is what she said. I'm just saying what she said, and then I give like my take on it. Um, President Joe Biden released a statement, um, and this is according to ABC News Politics. Um, Said that today, and I quote, today American citizen Brittany Griner received a prison sentence that is one more reminder of what the world already knew. Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittany. It's unacceptable, and I call on Russia to release her immediately so that she can be with her wife, loved ones, friends, and teammates. My administration will continue to work tirelessly and pursue every possible avenue to bring Brittany and Paul Whelan home safely as soon as possible. End quote. Um, Now, I want to say that, like I say, this if you tune in, this is Lou from Lou Optics. We're just trying to unpack and talk about Brittany Griner. She just got sentenced to 9 years in prison. In perspective, Russian prosecutors recommended that she would get 9.5 years in prison. The maximum is 10 years in prison. And so, one of the things I wanted to say off top is that as far as the American justice system versus the Russian justice system, is way different. I mean, if you get arrested and you're getting arraigned and you're getting locked up, you're actually having to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. So it's the total opposite of the American justice system. And I've been very critical of LeBron James and what he said on his barbershop show, um, because I believe that freedom of speech um, works differently, and it kind of works against us if we're trying to negotiate with the Russian government to get Brittany Griner free. If you really want her free, in my opinion, this is a time LeBron needed to step back and actually talk to real people that know foreign policy. Like on his barbershop show, I challenge him to actually bring real guests that actually know foreign policy. I don't understand why. If you have such a big platform like that, and it's such a big issue, and these are real life people. This is not Hollywood. This is not the neighborhood of make believe. This is not pretend time. Um, this is not Mayberry. This is Russia, right? And I simply believe that the way that was handled was irresponsible and reckless at best. Because and I'm gonna say this, and I've said this before to people, that everybody doesn't deserve a platform. Everybody doesn't deserve to have a voice. Because if all you're going to do is spread misinformation, confusion, or recklessness, you don't deserve a voice. I don't believe in that. So I believe that people should have to earn their voice. More about integrity than reputation. I believe integrity is real and reputation is only dependent upon if an entity likes you or dislikes you. But integrity is clear. Integrity is real. Integrity is the truth. And if you're going to say certain things that spreads all across the world, you should be an expert at it. You shouldn't just be you're sitting in a barbershop nice and comfortable where you can sip your drink and you have freedom. Where Brittany Griner, this young lady, regardless as to how you feel about her, she's not in the same position. She's not comfortable. She's not free. She's detained. Now she's imprisoned. This is ridiculous. You cannot compare, you cannot easily translate American culture to Russian culture. It's completely different. The economic systems are completely different. The ways we conduct society is completely different. And just to preface this, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. My vote goes to whoever serves my best interest first. That's the whole meaning of voting in the first place, is that my vote secures my attitudes, my values, my traditions, my ways. I come first. When I go in that booth, I'm thinking about me. Just to let people know, Brittany Griner, like I said, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. So I don't get any fuzzy feelings when it comes to, the Democrats. When I was growing up, we voted Democratic for the most part. But as I came of age, I voted for Democrat and Republican presidents, Democrat and Republican senators, Democratic and Republican state reps, House reps, mayors, you name it. Whoever was working in my best interest and offered to me True friendship is who wins. Russian democracy and American democracy are completely different. So I'm going to say it again. LeBron James, where was someone in your shop when you did the shop? Why you didn't have someone that was an expert in foreign policy to actually sit with you and chill with you just like anyone else? This is all I'm saying. That Russian media was using LeBron James' voice more than Joe Biden's voice because they're going to choose the loudest voices in the room, broadcast that, and then they're going to say to their people, hey, America don't respect us, so we have to send a message. And I'm going to be honest, I'm very concerned because even if you said, okay, she was sentenced 9 years, and what if she spends 4 or 5 years? That's still 4 or 5 years she's not playing basketball. That's 4 or 5 years she won't be able to see or visit relatives. That's 4 or 5 years that she won't be able to train. She won't be able to get back. Even if you sit on your behind 4 to 5 years, let's say it takes 4 to 5 years to get her free. The WNBA, they'll embrace her and they will sign her because it'll be something that is symbolic. But will she be able to jump high? She'll probably be a decent player, but she won't be the Brittany Griner of today because she will be older. And that's period. 4 or 5 years and she's not getting the best food, and nutrition and exercise and training. She won't get that for 4 or 5 years. But the reality is that if she's there 9 years and they don't find some way to re-up that, what happens to her after 9 years? I'm going to see if I can actually share my screen with you. If not, that's okay, but we're gonna try to make this work. But Brittany Griner, she was born in 90. Her birthday hasn't passed yet, so she's 31 years old. She's 6'9", 205. So she's turning 32 this year, which means that if she's locked up for 9 years, and you have to understand that the WNBA season has already been, in process. So by the time the next time that she would be able to be in the WNBA, because they're going to sign her, that's going to happen. And we're going to unpack why that's going to happen even after 10 years. Even if they have to do something symbolic, like they sign her to the bench and just to make a statement. But she would be 42 years old. She would be 42 years old if she just does her time, that Joe Biden fails and every other president fails to get her out. If they can't do the swap that they're talking about doing, the U.S. is talking about it. I haven't really seen any Russian media say that they are actually going to do it. So the American media is saying, oh, it's going to be a a 2-for-1 swap. And it's like, how do you know? Like, Putin had a pretty decent relationship with Donald Trump, and even he didn't get anybody out of Russia. So I'm trying to figure out how in the world Biden, which has a cold, frosty relationship with Putin, especially with the fact that it's reported that the U.S. has been helping purchase, different weapons, at least drones, for the Ukrainians. And with that said, now what? How much confidence do you really have? This is Lou from Lou Optics, and I want to get into briefly about how this is important. For me, is my first thing is, man, it's going to be 10 years before she gets a quality eye exam. It's going to be 10 years before she gets a quality physical. It's going to be 10 years before she can actually update her prescription in her glasses. We can't just say, oh, we're going to send her some commissary. It don't work that way. She's not in America. She's in Russia. So I'm going to, in this case, play it unsafe and say, I tall list one. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? We're talking, if you came in, we're just talking about Brittany Griner just getting 9 years. And that's the first thing I think about, though, is that 10 years without a quality physical, 10 years without a quality eye exam, 10 years without really good food and nutrition. I don't know what they serve in Russian prisons, but I can guarantee you it's probably worse than anything you'll have in some federal prison. They're not going to sit there and say, okay, we're going to look at your allergies and we're going to give you something that's gluten-free and, we're going to make sure you stay strong. I don't know all that. What I do know is that she's American and that, the last administration couldn't free anybody. And it's like, this is going to be a very, very tough situation for her, because we frankly don't know what the greater public in Russia thinks about her, except for being able to play basketball. I thought that Russia would have wanted a little more or something creative. I wasn't sure what they was going to say. I thought maybe they were going to say that, she should be forced to play Russian ball. I don't know. That would have been crazy. But from what I hear, it doesn't sound like they're very enthusiastic about the swap. Maybe this is a procedure move where they're okay with the swap, but they just want to make sure that she's convicted first, that they would maintain a certain amount of leverage so that the swap can happen. That would be best case scenario, is that they was going to put her through the justice system. They were going to convict her of near max. I kind of assumed that was going to happen. I definitely wouldn't have. I don't think that she would have got the max. I think they was going to give her little less than the max to kind of say, hey, we're being compassionate because the prosecutor said that she should get 9.5 years. We only gave her 9. And so then she can live her life. But we know that in certain countries like Singapore, you could be almost up to being freed, and then they'll find some reason or find some violation you did, so then they can give you a lot more years. And I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about that, just because it's not the American justice system. And we have to keep that in mind. So the next time LeBron James get on his barbershop podcast or whatever it is, that he actually gets a person, there's got to be somebody that's, that you can relate to, that you can sit in that barber's chair and can actually tell you foreign policy and say, hey, this is what the Russians are thinking. I think that would be a lot more powerful than just shooting from the hip and just talking hood. It seems like it would be much more beneficial because they're listening to us. They're listening to our podcast. They're listening to especially the celebrities talk. And I believe that they're making their voices a lot louder than Joe Biden's. And, we need actual people in foreign policy. We need those people to have the loudest voices. If you was to ask me, did they reject a trade? I would say, yeah. Because in a sense, if that's all it was, they would have just went on ahead and did it. But I think that Vladimir Putin is looking at things just a little bit different because he wants to show that he's the strongest leader on planet Earth. And if the tables was turned, I believe Biden would do the same thing. Put this person through the entire justice system, let them have what you think is a fair trial, have testimony and everything, and then a true conviction, and so that he can look strong. I believe that's all it was that he can look strong in front of the Russian people. And if you're just tuning in, this is Lou from Lou Optics. And I think about this based on my industry too. You're talking about, is she going to be forced to wear the same pair of glasses for 10 years? Is she going to be forced to eat their food? I don't know if their food is substandard. I don't know. I'm a person, I'm on the side of not even trusting anyone for the most part. Hey, you never know. The food they eat might be better. But what disappoints me, because no matter what side of the issue you're on, and I know her lifestyle, I don't know if that plays a part in it. But even before I get to that, she did play for the Russian team. She played in Russia, some Russian team. So I thought that they would put that in consideration, that she has been willfully going over there and playing for Russian teams for money, and that she's been entertaining the Russian fans for years. I thought maybe they shave off a few years because for the most part, she has been entertaining and, providing entertainment for those people for a while now. However, it just didn't go that way. Their justice system is completely different. And according to the Associated Press, like I say, if you just getting in, WNBA star Brittany Griner convicted and sentenced to 9 years in prison by a Russian drug judge for drug possession and smuggling. So this is huge. And I did say that quote earlier, and I'll read it to you again. And this is a statement from President Joe Biden for immediate release. Today, American citizen Brittany Griner received a prison sentence that is one more reminder of what the world already knew. Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittany. It's acceptable, and I call on Russia to release her immediately. And then it goes on. And he said he's working, this is Biden, working tirelessly and pursuing every avenue to bring Brittany and Paul Whelan home safely. And we've been talking Paul Whelan for a long time. And I believe they're going to want more. This 2-for-1 swap. Some tells me that there's more Russian prisoners or people that are of Russian descent in the United States. And the government wants more. It's not going to be a 2-for-1. It's going to be at least a 2-for-2, or some guarantee of getting out of involvement with the Ukraine. I don't know. Just a hunch from me. I know nothing about foreign policy from an official standpoint, but what I do know is that they do use our media against us, and we have to be very, very careful about that. So it sounds like this is creating leverage. Now, if you was to ask me personally, and let's get into it, do I believe that she deserved 9 years in prison? No. Do I believe she's guilty? Yeah. And for this one reason and one reason only. You have to surround yourself around some people that will make sure that you don't make those mistakes. One of the mistakes you don't make is putting something in your luggage. She would have at least had to establish that it was hers. And and kind of thinking about it right now, you kind of wonder if that's a question. Did she just plead guilty, leave it alone, and say, yeah, I'm guilty of what you said, so I can possibly get out of here? The American justice system is a lot of people that plead guilty for things they didn't do in hopes of a light sentence so they can get out of prison. And you kind of wonder if that's the same thing that was instructed to her. We don't know. We won't know until she's freed as to what was true, what wasn't true, because she might be just going along. The American people that deal with diplomacy might be saying, hey, just go ahead and say you're guilty so we can get this thing done so we can get you home. So we absolutely don't know. But if you was to ask me, is she guilty? Yeah, she guilty. If she's telling the truth, because she said she was not being malicious, if she's telling the truth, then she's guilty of simply being reckless. And that is crazy, because if you're reckless and then she's freed, then you know for a fact that American citizens will continue going over there haphazardly and not thinking about the ramifications that can happen to them if they're reckless. And one of the last places on earth you want to be reckless is Russia, China, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Afghanistan, Singapore, these kind of countries, which, hey, you do what you do, we do what we do over here. So I'm not going to say that they're lesser than or greater than. What I'm saying is that when you're over there, you should think about being very, very careful. Very little luggage. You leave all your good stuff behind. If you need to have a new laptop for over there and keep it over there, I think that's what you need to do. We have to really think about and rethink about when it comes to actually traveling abroad. And one of the things that I hope doesn't happen is that LeBron James just come out and just say, okay, I have more to say about this. Because a part of me blames him. Everybody doesn't deserve a platform. And I'm going to say it a billion times. Everyone doesn't deserve a platform just because you have a skill. You know, I wouldn't tell somebody that's a garbage person that's never cooked a meal in their life, I'm going to hire you as a chef in my restaurant. And you have no evidence of any prior experience. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like, what are we doing here? So we have to really think about this, you know. And I hope that this is a lesson to everybody that, you know, when your government starts saying, get out of there as fast as you can, we have a problem. You get out of there. Forget about the money. Forget about how much it costs. Forget about um, forget about it all. It makes no sense. So that's what I have for right now. This is Lou from Lou Optics. Please share, like, subscribe the video. I just simply believe that, you know, you have to be careful because you never know if you're going to end up being a political prisoner. So we'll talk to you later. All right. We out.